Good evening, Commonwealth, and thanks for watching the Channel 2 News. I'm Ashley McDowell. Let's take a look at tonight's top stories. CPA discusses projected revenue loss from the suspension of flights to and from China. Also tonight, a male is charged with child abuse and is released to his parents on a bail modification. And this CNMI is included in a bill that would protect families from an unpleasant surprise. In sports, the mighty Geckos bite Dolphins with a not-so-secret strategy. Stay with us, these stories and more are next.
What is Whole Home Wi-Fi? Whole Home Wi-Fi spreads Wi-Fi across your entire home. Pods plug straight into the wall. No messy cables. They spread the internet from your modem to every corner of your home at full speed. Whole Home Wi-Fi doesn't just make your Wi-Fi faster. It intelligently adapts to your environment and manages your Wi-Fi 24/7 based on insight like the number and types of devices connected to your home. Whole Home Wi-Fi, powered by Plume. Learn more at docomopacific.com.
At one of Saipan's beaches, this mother lays about 100 eggs under the cover of darkness. She hides her nest as best she can and then slowly makes her way back to the ocean. The eggs hatch and the babies head for the sea, where they will face a daily dose of danger. Just 1 in 1,000 will make it to adulthood. Those that do will one day lay their own eggs. Sea turtles are protected under CNMI law. If you see one that is stranded or if you see illegal activity, call the hotline at 287-8537.
Hafa Day, Tirawami, and good evening, Commonwealth. Today is Thursday, February 13th, 2020. The Commonwealth Ports Authority held a board meeting today where projections were discussed on loss in revenue from the suspended flights from China. Take a listen. The Commonwealth Ports Authority is projecting a loss of $3.9 million for the remainder of the fiscal year, should all 4 direct China flights remain suspended until the end of the fiscal year.
So we'll have an impact on our ability to service our debt to the bond. And so it was necessary, it's not only necessary to cut hours, which the committee today will be recommending to the board's emergency meeting tomorrow, but it was also important that we take further steps to cut operational expenses.
The CPA board is looking at taking an 8-hour pay cut per pay period.
Assuming that all conditions remain the same for the remainder of this fiscal year, 8 hours is sufficient for now. Obviously, we have to monitor the situation practically on a daily basis to see, if there's any changes in as far as passenger loads, as that has a direct impact on our ability to collect revenues. And so if something changes, we have to go back to the drawing board.
Other cost-saving recommendations that were made at the board meeting today are?
Absolutely total, complete freeze, including board. There will be nobody traveling outside of the Commonwealth unless they're doing so as part of a federal requirement or the trip is federally funded. There will be no new hiring, no replacements unless it's an absolute emergency, but even that has to get board approval. There's a freeze on merit increases and overtime, and obviously just the basic gas conservation, utility conservation, and we're also going back to the drawing board to kind of look at what our planned capital improvement projects are and what's critical at this point and as far as what we need to spend on, and make some adjustments to those. But there are some projects that are funded as part of our insurance reimbursements from Typhoon Yutu, so those projects will continue in the order of their priority, the loading bridge being one of them.
Hines says there is an emergency CPA board meeting tomorrow at 2 p.m. where the board will be voting on the recommendations. Reporting for KSPN, I'm Ashley McDowell. Also in speaking with chairwoman of the CPA board, Kimberly Hines, she tells KSPN they plan on getting the remaining tourists back to their home. 120 passengers are stranded on Saipan as a result of suspension of flights from Hong Kong Express.
The governor is very on top of this situation. He has communicated with Hong Kong Express. We've communicated with Hong Kong Express. Their ground handlers is POI, and they're aware that there are 120 passengers here. Now, obviously, this is not an airport issue. It is an airline carrier issue, but we have to be proactive in terms of trying to help these people out because, they're stuck here through no fault of their own.
Tourists from China can only stay in Saipan for a maximum of 14 days through the parole program.
So now they would be overstaying. Obviously, CBP, as we've been communicating with them, are very they're well aware of this situation. The next step, basically, if Hong Kong Express doesn't voluntarily come back, ferry in and live out with these 120 passengers, the governor is ready to communicate directly with the Chinese consulate to get some sort of assistance through their side, their government side, to figure out how to bring these people back home.
Hines says at this time, no other airlines are suspending any of their regularly scheduled flights. In court, a bail modification is made for a male facing count 1 of child abuse. According to court documents, 41-year-old Michael Borja allegedly pulled the left ear of his daughter, smacked her on the left side of the face, pushed her, and punched her right arm, causing bruising while inside their home. On February 11th, the Department of Youth Services contacted the Department of Public Safety at Tinian Elementary School requesting assistance. The minor was brought to Tinian Health Center for evaluation and taken to Saipan for a forensic interview, where the minor explained Borja would get drunk and cause verbal and physical abuse on different occasions. Borja was called into DPS to give a statement. He denied hitting his daughter and explained he was mad at her for closing and locking the door when her friend was inside. Whereas punishment, Borja claimed he spanked her with a belt and grounded her. Borja was then arrested. Bail is set at $2,500. Borja has been released to his parents as third-party custodians. A preliminary hearing is scheduled for March 13th at 9 a.m. The Marianas is included in a bill that protects patients from surprise medical charges. Here are the details.
A bill that protects patients and their families from surprise medical bills was approved by the Education and Labor Committee in the U.S. House of Representatives. But before a final vote was taken, Congressman Gregorio Kilili Sablan, who is a member of the committee, asked for clarification whether the Marianas and U.S. territories are covered in the bill. Robert Scott, who is the chairman of the committee, stated, quote, "I want to clarify for my colleague, Mr. Sablan, and others that H.R. 5800 does apply to the territories. This is because the bill relies on a definition of state that applies to the territories. Therefore, the protections against surprise billing under this bill will be afforded equally to patients and families in those areas." End quote. Kilili thanked the chairman and stated he knows constituents in the Marianas who thought they were covered by their health insurance, only to find out later there were medical costs they had to pay out of their pocket. Emergency air ambulance service in the Marianas is one example of a cost that can be unexpectedly billed to patients. The Ban Surprise Billing Act has been voted out of the committee and can now be considered by the entire House of Representatives.
The CNMI WIC program would like to inform the public that their services are not included in the public charge rule. On January 27th, the U.S. Supreme Court reversed a nationwide injunction that prevented implementation of the Department of Homeland Security's final public rule. The rule expands the government's ability to deny immigrants legal status if they have access to certain public benefits like Medicaid, NAP, or housing assistance. The CNMI WIC program under the Commonwealth Healthcare Corporation states WIC is not included in the rule. For more information on the public charge rule, you may visit their website shown on the screen. The CNMI Board of Parole and their parolees wants to give back to the community. Sally Lemus reports.
There are currently 35 criminals who are out on parole. Majority of the parolees are employed, and 90% of them have complied with all court requirements, such as classes at the Hope Recovery Center and the Community Guidance Center. Ramon Camacho, board chairman, says the board has now come up with an idea that would allow the parolees to give back to the community.
So we create this so-called community garden, and we already acquire a property, a public land in the middle of the Susupi village.
Camacho says a committee has already been made for the project, composed of the Northern Marianas College Crees and the Division of Agriculture. They are also reaching out to Natural Resources Conservation Service for their involvement.
Once we develop that thing, the community will take over this community garden. And among them, in Susupi village, the community will take over the garden and build a relationship among each other and promote the healthy and safe living community. That's what we need. We need to bring the community together, okay? So we can all work together and reduce this unacceptable activity within the community.
Camacho says a workshop will be held soon to educate residents of Susupi about the community garden.
And I strongly believe in empowering the community, because we need to build this neighborhood. You need to build a relationship to your neighbor. And one thing, the community should be mindful of, if you build this relationship to your neighbor, or something happened in a dying situation and you're alone in your house and you're in need of help, who could be your lifesaver? It's the community, your neighbor. So we need to bring this together.
Camacho expects to see a drop in crime with a project like this, promoting community togetherness and safety in the community. Reporting for KSPN, I'm Sally Lemus.
Coming up, a former recipient from Shefa returns to Saipan and joins the board. More details after the break.
Mom, are you sure? What about the shutters? And do you have your medicine?
Don't worry about us, love, okay? You take good care of yourself. Hi, my love. Yeah, sorry. The power went out, so I had to light up all the candles. Yeah. Yes, baby, yeah. I'm just glad our home phone's working and we're able to contact you.
Half a day. Join us for the Marianas Festival of Hope on February 21 at the American Memorial Park. Come and be blessed as you listen to a message of hope from the Reverend Franklin Graham. And enjoy a night of music featuring Grammy Award singer and songwriter and multi-platinum artist Michael W. Smith. Together with award-winning guitarist Dennis Agajanian, the Tommy Coombs Band, and from the Philippines, Margarita It's Wahiman. Admission is free. See you there at the American Memorial Park on Friday, February 21. Gates will open at 5:30 p.m. For more information, follow us on Facebook at Marianas Festival of Hope with Franklin Graham.
Watch the Visitors Channel online, on time, anytime at saipantv.com. Where to go, what to see, what to do. Restaurants, spas, activities, and culture. It's all in one place, in high definition, on your mobile device. saipantv.com. Check it out.
Welcome back to the Channel 2 News. The Saipan and Northern Islands delegation confirms the nomination of Kaylani Dimapon as a member of the Saipan Higher Education Financial Assistance Board.
Kaylani Dimapon is now officially a Shefa board member. Saipan Mayor David Apatang was present at the delegation meeting to endorse his support for the nominee.
I know that Ms. Kaylani is very qualified, very highly qualified to serve as a board member for Shefa, and I know that she will serve our students very well in that capacity.
Another board member added how Damapon's youth may contribute to the board.
She will bring balance to our leadership, bring in a fresh, really innovative mind on how we could best move forward in all Shefa related matters. And ultimately, she too is a Shefa recipient. She was a product of it, and I applaud her for returning home, calling this place home, and doing her best to make the CNMI, Saipan, a better place.
SNILE Chairman John Posablon moved to confirm Demapon's nomination. Demapon will serve the remaining 2 years of the late CNMI Chief Probation Officer. I'm Sally Lemis for KSPN News.
'Tis the season for whale watching. February is the best month to see humpback whales here. Eagle-eyed Brad Rizzola spotted 2 humpback whales today while out on the water heading toward Tinian. One outside of Managaha and another farther along the western coast of Saipan. These whales fatten up on krill near Alaska and the Bering Sea in the summertime. In winter, living off fat reserves, they swim nonstop to warm subtropical waters to breed and give birth. 2/3 of North Pacific humpback whales migrate to Hawaii. On Guam, Governor Leon Guerrero attends a House session in Washington discussing renegotiations of the compacts of the free associations. KUAM reports.
Here is your Guam news update. The renegotiations of the compacts of free association may be the battleground for Guam and Hawaii in a fight for more, better reimbursement. The issue took a spotlight again during a hearing in Washington. Here's more.
Governor Leon Guerrero joined other territorial leaders in a hearing before the House Natural Resources Committee. They were invited to testify on the Office of Insular Affairs fiscal year 2021 budget and air out some of their top concerns.
For years, territorial governors sitting in hearings like this have highlighted the costs associated with the compacts of free association. While these bilateral documents help to offset China's growing influence in the Western Pacific and preserve our national security interests, Guam and other affected jurisdictions are left to fund the consequences of unmitigated migration.
Hawaii Representative Ed Case said his states got similar concerns. Hawaii and Guam receive about $14 million a year each in compact reimbursement, despite estimated annual costs of $150 million.
We are not willing to just roll over and accept and ratify, which is Congress's obligation and duty and choice, another set of compacts as they come up for renegotiation unless there is substantial increases in compact funding. Would you agree with that, Governor?
We are very concerned about it. We see it in our public safety, we see it in our health, and we see it in our education. But I also want to say that we welcome our brothers and sisters to help improve their quality of life. But I think federal government has a responsibility to help us along with that, as we're not part of the negotiations and decisions are made without our input.
Governor Leon Guerrero also applauded a House bill that would reimburse GovGuam for earned income tax credit for low-income residents, which is an estimated $60 million a year.
The language will direct the U.S. Treasury to reimburse Guam for 75% of its EITC costs. Mr. St. is a sponsor of this bill, and though I believe that Guam and our sister territories should be treated equally with the states by reimbursing us 100% of our costs, H.R. 3300 is a step towards fairness.
But Congressman Case cautions that federal funding may prove scarce if the Trump administration's newly unveiled spending plan is any indication.
Look, this is pretty serious. Yesterday we saw the president's budget, and I assume that you have all taken at least a preliminary look at it. And if you haven't, it is devastating to the Office of Insular Affairs. It is a reduction, again, of somewhere around 20–25%. I'm amazed. I don't understand it. There seems to be some level of actual animus inside somewhere in this administration to federal funding to our territories.
For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
Make sure to go to KUAM.com.
Thank you, Jason. Coming up in the KSPN2 Sports Report, the escape from the basement. Somebody has to get out.
deserve more.
I know it's been hard. Come on, let's go for a ride.
Hi, welcome to Dow Rent to Own.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now this feels like home.
Dial Rent to Own.
Making lives better since 1987.
Do you have a team or company? Bring them to the Adventure Specialist, Saipan's homegrown Marianas Trekking. Our guided adventures will challenge and excite you, and our award-winning photographers will capture it in a unique and unforgettable way. Check out our off-roading, go-karting, mountain biking, hiking, and snorkeling. And we have top-notch rental gear too. So bring your team, bring your family, or bring your best friend. Marianas Trekking inside the Mariana Resort.
Grow your business with the Channel 2 News. Our professional staff are here to help you market your product, brand, service, or business in the most effective way possible. Be it state-of-the-art video services, graphics, or animation, we will make sure that you reach your target audience. Flametree TV, now in all CNMI hotels and most homes. It's your best marketing tool.
Buenas sports fans. Buenas sports fans, are you afraid of geckos? If so, ask yourself why. They don't bite unless they're on the basketball court and they bite the other team.
Fear the geckos. Saipan International School, Stephen Goodwin, the human fly swatter. John Rizzo, he steps back. SIS, slow to cover, and he makes them pay with a 3 for the JVs. Geckos turn. Jason Sablon, a step-back jumper. Oh, he didn't step back far enough, so that's just a long two-pointer. Robbie Shore's going to be playing tennis in the college in the fall, but first he needs to make a layup. The Geckos were getting good layup practice, and the game plan was take it in strong. It was working. Jason, the dish, to Ku Nishimura, the hoop, plus the harm. Will he make the free throw? Do geckos have sticky tongues? Ku goes coast to coast and doesn't stop until the rock drops. More of his drive and determination. Geckos overpower the MHS JVs for their third win in 4 games.
27-18, the final tally in that game in favor of the mighty Geckos, who hail from the Aslito suburbs. Well, if you take the UFO Basketball League and take their standings and turn them upside down, PIC and Toyota Wheels would be on top. But since our world's already been turned upside down, let's leave the standings the way they are and call this game the escape from the basement.
Don Brennan, he's been a human highlight reel for the Toyota Wheels, their top scorer. Supplemente for PIC. You know, they have a bouncy there you can practice on. Captain James Bowie. He had 8 3-pointers in this game, but he needed help. Joe Gillis and Bobby Coldine working the 2-man game, and the wheels were rolling.
Yeah! Well, that was pretty nice.
Chris Lillis, he came to play a putback. He had his best game of the year. The steal leads to this drive, and he doesn't stop until the rock drop. Not all of his shots went in, though. Bobby Colding gets the putback. Give him a hand. Thank you. Brennan, no stopping him until it's too late. It's okay. Go ahead and clap for him, too. Clap. Wheels up by 14 going to the 4th quarter. PIC wasn't ready to go home yet. Dan Mateo, he goes in for 2, and they climb to within 4.
And then Chris took over, 66-54, the final in favor of Toyota Wheels. Chris walks away with a gift certificate from RNV Villaroyal.
Here's the windup and the pitch.
I don't believe what I just saw.
Let's roll at Gold's Gym Saipan with group exercise for every body. Total Resistant Exercise, or TRX, helps develop your core and improve strength. And Zumba toning is probably the funnest way to get fit. The Shake Cafe is a great place to stop by for a meal replacement or supplements. Today is the first day of the rest of your life.
Traveling or laying over on Guam? Don't wait around. Zip into Guam Adventures Zipline Park inside the Hilton Resort and Spa. Guides will take you through a series of zips, starting with a mountain course and then zip over the ocean with spectacular views of Tumon Bay. 6 zip lines in all deliver a thrilling experience, and it's family friendly, so bring the kids ages 6 and up. You'll love the security of double lines and a new braking system to make riding smoother. The towers are named after the islands in the Marianas. We call it the Island Hopper. Your guides will teach you what you need to know to soar through the jungle with a bird's eye view. Best of all, for residents of Saipan, Tinian, and Rota, you can book this experience at 20% savings. Log on to GuamAdventures.com and during checkout, use offer code HAFA20. Book it and zip it today. We'll even pick you up.
Today's high at the airport was 84. It was 72, the low at my house. The humidity 51%, pretty low for here. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, light, isolated showers. Northeast winds 15 to 25 miles an hour. High 86, low 74. Seas 11 to 4 feet. There is a small craft advisory in effect through Sunday with occasional gale force gust out there on the waters. Sunrise 6:42, high tide at 11:37, low tide at 6:20, same time as the sunset.
Thank you, Bob. So have you ever seen a whale?
Yes, I was on a sailboat going to New Guinea, and really strange, we saw this whale, and he was on the side, off the side, starboard, and he circled. We were watching him, and he did a 360. He went all the way around our boat at an equidistant. He circled us, and then when he got back to where we first saw him, then he went, just like took off and just went straight. So he checked us out.
That's pretty cool, yeah. I'm kind of wondering what you guys are and why you're in the area.
And then another time, yeah, we at night we got hit with something, and I don't know if it was a whale or something. And it just everybody, we thought we might sink or something. It was pretty scary. I don't know if whales just accidentally collide with boats or not. I don't know.
Possibly. I don't know how well their vision is, but
they try to stay away from boats. I think that's what. That's why that one whale circled us, and I've never heard of a whale. Anybody have any problems with whales here?
Yeah, they're usually pretty nice. I think the only one I saw was
SeaWorld.
SeaWorld. That's the only whale I've ever seen in person. I would love to see one out here.
Oh yeah, this is the time. Wing Beach, Pow Pow Beach. Those are really good places to go.
Well, I think it's time to get out of here. Maybe try to go check it out right now.
Yeah, maybe catch one.
All right. Well, thank you for watching. Have a great rest of your night.
Good night.